And finally tonight, my take on a topic that trended on X over the past week. And by the way, unlike other more traditional media networks, we tell you when it's an opinion. We don't secretly weave narratives or agendas into what should be straight journalism. So my take, my opinion on something that has completely dominated many lives, including mine, over the past 500 plus days. The fate of an innocent mother and her two babies. On October 7, 2023, terrorists dragged Shiri, terrified, clutching her two sons, Ariel and Kafir, aged 4 and just 9 months old, into Gaza. Ariel and Kafir, aged 4 and just 9 months old, into Gaza from Israel. Look at her face. Don't turn away. They murdered Shiri's mother and father too, by the way, before killing her and her babies, wiping out 3 generations of one family. Their bodies were returned this week. Bodies. In some kind of sick celebration of death in front of dancing children. Dad Yarden was recently released by Hamas, but to what? To who? Kafir loved Batman. He was obsessed. Ariel, well, he didn't get the chance to fall in love with his favourite superhero. In fact, he never got to experience a birthday party. Over 1,000 others died on October 7 that year, and every single one was done with an unimaginable level of depravity. I've seen every second of raw vision, and the evil displayed makes that of ISIS and Al-Qaeda look mild. Omer, 2 years old, and his 5-year-old twin sisters, Arbel and Shahar. They watched the murder of their mum and dad. They were burned alive afterwards. Their killers, Hamas terrorists, who were also responsible for the deaths of every single man, woman and child killed in Gaza since, must be wiped out. Completely? Entirely? Not a skerrick can remain. How did we get here? How did the world allow 500 days to pass with innocent men, women and children held captive in terror tunnels with monsters? Every leader of every single country that purports to value humanity, freedom and peace could have stepped up the next day and ended this nightmare. Instead, we saw weakness in spades. We saw excuses made, and human rights organisations, activists and feminists in Western democracies take to the streets and wave the flags of the terrorists who did this. The attempt by so many in power to appease those who sought to justify the unjustifiable, empowered, emboldened, and enabled the bloodthirsty killers. And it also handed a death sentence to their own people. A classic case of suicidal empathy, as the great Dr. Gard Saad would say. Unity and strength in the face of evil would have saved thousands and thousands of lost lives in Israel and in Gaza. Weakness in high places and in high doses cemented their fate. So when the new leader of the free world, President Trump, shows uncompromising strength, this is why. When his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, prioritises lethality for the US military, it's not to wage wars and kill people, it's to avoid both. The naive and, to be frank, stupid reaction is to try and frame this mentality as somehow cruel, uncaring and callous. It is the complete opposite. We don't live in a world of sunshine, lollipops and rainbows. Evil walks amongst us. And until it doesn't, we must speak the only language they understand. So, as Trump stated, when the time is right, and that time must be soon, all hell must be unleashed on Hamas and all who perpetrate their horror. Not just for the sake of the Western world right now, but to save the next generation born into this evil and their future victims. To give them all a chance at life, some hope, and the freedom we must be willing to preserve and protect with our lives. But with the right people in the right places, we won't need to.